Right, this is my Zx12r. Okay, I've had plenty of ZZR11s and all the other old quackers, Z1R1000 and all that, and this is the only one that's been a pig to change the spark plugs on. So I'll give you a quick rough idea if you haven't done one. Top cover off the tank, there she is, okay. Inner covers, obviously the the cover for the petrol, and these are only held on by a few screws, and one of them is there on the fairing. The same on the other side. But once you get that out of the way, and then you have a look down in here, there's a rubber cover, so just unflick it. Disconnect all your electrics, okay, including anything you can see that's going to get in your way. So it's a bit of a nightmare, and believe me, it is tight. And once you get these off, pull out, it's quite a long cap. I don't know if you can see the plug, because this thing's been running like a pig on low revs. So I haven't changed the plugs in it since I've had it. I've had it 4 years now. I never needed to. It does come with its own tool, if I can find it. Right, here it is. This is the only one you're going to get in there, not unless you've got something else. And believe me, the ones further on in, if you can see that, but not with my bad light, but you can barely get enough hand in there to lift out, and they're quite hard to even pull the caps off because they're quite deep down. So the problem I've had with this is I took it for a blast today, took it down to Aber, and I was moving. It's the first time I've given it a really good clear out this side of the summer, and I didn't like it. Once I got to the roundabout, it was running on 3, 2, limped it home, and I'm putting it down to the plugs, so I'm hoping that's the problem. But on the ZZRs, the whole thing, airbox comes off and everything. As you can see, there's no airbox underneath the tank, so the tank's set further back. But once you get the seats off, take the seats off, it's fairly straightforward. You don't need to take anything else. So you can get your hands in there. The 2 outer plugs are easy. The next ones in are a bit tricky. And don't, whatever you do, buy cheap plugs. Put in, you know, a 30 quid plus part, you know, if you can, because you don't want to be doing this job twice. Because it's a real pig, actually. So, I've disconnected both sides, all the electrics. The cables I can just get past, but see this rubber, this little rubber flap? It just unhooks out of the way, and what I do with it, I'm just shoving it up. There's probably some mechanics watching this going, what's he doing? But I've always had quackers, right from the age of 15 when I shouldn't have had one. But you can just see him in there. There's number 1. And the further one, you can just reach him, he's going to be a pig to get to. Because the frame is so chunky on this bike. So I thought I'd have to take off all the fairing, but you don't have to. It's still quite intact, as you can see. So that's all I've had to take off and disconnect the electrics to get to the plugs. You're going to pop down the top of the plug cap, hear him clip, and he'll push back. See, off he'll come. That's it. Just push him down, and then you get the cap out again on this one. See the cables. It would be easier if you took the cables off, but what I tend to do with these is just wiggle them back and forward. This is a bit like baking a cake, isn't it? Switch it off and back on when the cake's done. Bring back the older stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to get it off with one hand and holding the camera. But it will come out, but it is tight. A bit of WD wouldn't hurt. I haven't got any plugs to put in actually. I just checked, I thought I had some new ones but I haven't, so I'm going to get those out. Obviously check for oil, because sometimes you get oil leaking on this model from the rocker seal. So if there's no oil down in the plugs there, that's fine. There's clearly going to be a plug problem. Plus I tend to put acetone in my petrol. I buy pure acetone, I add it, but it's only 2-3 mil every 10 gallons. I put in 8 to 9 by mistake today. I was in a bit of a rush, so I just chucked it in there, and it could have been that why it was running a bit dog, because they said it will run rough if you put too much in, but believe me, it runs clean with some in there. I put it in my car as well, and it's great for killing off emissions. If my car failed on emissions, I put acetone in it and it cleared it up, cleared off all the head and everything. It was brilliant. So always put a drop in on your bikes, it's recommended. So anyway, that's all you've got to do now is take out the caps. I put some WD down in there, and then I'll undo the plugs, drop in my new plugs when I get them, and put it all back together. It's quite straightforward. So you could do the whole thing in an hour if you take your time. So any tips off anybody else would be handy as well. If they know any other reason it might have been missing. But I think it is generally the acetone and the plugs, because 4 years without a plug change is a long time. So anyway lads, hope it helps. See you on the road, boys.